team. Okay, so today we're going to continue asking questions about patterns in the sky. And even though we're not at school to get our learning done, you can still go outside and explore the sky. That's what an astronomer does. An astronomer studies patterns in the sky. Let's say that word, astronomer. Yeah, let's do syllable change out for it. Ready? Astronomer. Astronomer. 4 syllables. And you get to be an astronomer all week. So, readers and astronomers sitting up so straight and tall. Our job again today. I can ask questions about a text. So we're going to keep using our I wonder thought bubble to ask questions. And then we're also going to observe and discuss patterns in the sky. Nice job. Give yourselves a home run. Home run. Okay, so before we get started on our story today, I want you to turn on your thinking caps. If we think about how we can observe and discuss patterns in the sky, we have to think about things that are in the sky. Okay, so when my kids have done this in my classroom, we've talked about the sun, right? The sun is something that we can observe in the sky. What else? Of course, the moon. Yeah, we can observe when the sun rises and the moon sets, and then when the moon rises and the sun sets. We're going to keep doing that this week. What else is a pattern that we can observe in the sky? You got it. Clouds. What's the initial sound in clouds? Very good. That's the first sound. Clouds. We can use their patterns to predict the weather. We're going to get to do that later this week. That's one more thing that we can observe in the sky. I think you guys got it. Stars. You're right. Today, we get to be an astronomer and learn more about stars. So, I want you to look at this front cover. The front cover sends messages up your arm to your brain to tell you what the story is going to be about. Now, the title of this story is called, How Many Stars in the Sky? That's a really good question. What are you guys wondering about stars in the sky? Think of it in your brain. Miss Shay will share hers. I wonder why you can see stars at night, but not during the daytime. I'm wondering that. So let's read to see if we can find out. Good readers are going to ask questions at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the text. How many stars in the sky? The author is Lenny Hort. The author writes the words, and then these beautiful paintings were done by James Ransom. There's that dedication page. Look at the picture. Get ready for your wonders. How many stars are in the sky? Mama was away that night, and I couldn't sleep. Mama knows all about the sun and stars, but she was away, and I didn't want to wake Daddy. So I stared out the window, asking myself, how many stars in the sky? I couldn't count so many just from my room. I leaned out the window, and I could count even more. That was just gazing over the backyard. How many stars could be in the sky? I went outside with a pad and pencil. I started to count. I filled up one whole page on the pad. But there were lots of stars hidden behind the trees. The house blocked out even more. The street lamp was so bright I couldn't see stars anywhere near it. How many stars could be in the sky? He's still wondering. I climbed high up into my treehouse. I stared at the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is a constellation. A constellation is a group of stars that make a special pattern. This one looks like the Big Dipper. And counted in a great circle all around the sky. I filled up page after page of that pad. But when I got back to the Dipper, it wasn't where I remembered it. I must have been out so long that the stars had moved. Old ones had set. New ones had risen. How how many stars in the sky. That makes me wonder. I wonder about constellations. I wonder if I've ever seen a constellation. And I wonder if stars can move. I climbed down from the treehouse, and there was Daddy. I couldn't sleep, I said. I can't sleep either, he said. Your mama won't be back till tomorrow. I told him how I wanted to count all the stars in the sky. If your mama was here, Daddy said, I bet she'd know. Maybe you and I can find some place where it'll be easier to count them. My dog hopped in the truck with us and we drove into town. The streets were quiet, but lots of streetlights were burning. We could see the bright city skyline in the distance. It's kind of what downtown St. Louis looks like at night too, huh? Daddy and I counted 25 or 26 stars. He said he thought one of them was maybe a planet Jupiter. Oh yeah, planets are in the sky, and we would have to use a telescope to see the planets better. This isn't a good place to see stars, I said. It's not a bad place to count them, though, he said, but it's still too hard. Let's go where it'll be really easy. I wonder why you can't see stars in the city, or at least you can't see all of them. I'm wondering about that. We drove into the city. The big clock by the tunnel said 2:45, but neither of us felt like sleeping. See, and there's those bright lights. Those aren't stars, those are like street lamps. We parked by Mama's office. There was a department store with brightly lit displays in every window. There were street lamps on every corner. So the display and the street lamps are sources of light, but those aren't the natural source of light that the star brings. There were dazzling neon signs. Headlights flashed from a steady stream of cars. Powerful searchlights beamed from the roofs of skyscrapers. All of those are sources of light that you can find in the city. But I think that some of those are distracting us from being able to see the stars. And I couldn't see any stars at all. I count exactly one, said Daddy. No, wait, he said, it's an airplane. Maybe the stars just don't want to be counted, I said. So before I keep going towards the end of the story, what are you wondering about stars? So even though you're an astronomer, you still get to wonder about patterns in the sky. Maybe you're wondering why you can't see stars when there's other bright lights. Or maybe you're wondering how you can predict patterns from stars. Keep wondering. We drove back through the tunnel. I was tired. And I thought we were going home. But instead, Daddy drove us deep in the country. There weren't any cars. There weren't any streetlights. There weren't any houses. Even the moon had set. And I knew we could never count all the stars. No matter where I looked, new ones appeared every time I blinked my eyes. Daddy pointed up and above, showing me the Milky Way. The Milky Way is part of the galaxy. The stars were so thick, I couldn't tell one from another. We were much too tired to drive anymore, so we slept underneath the stars that night. It was daylight when we woke. Daddy, I said, all those stars are always out there even when we can't see them, right? Of course they are, he said. We can try and count them again sometime, I asked. Any night you feel like, he said. You and me and Mama can all go out together. I could hardly wait to see Mama and tell her all about it. In a little while we'd all be back home, but now I was glad just to be standing there with Daddy, basking in the warmth of the one star we could see. What do we think the one star you can see during daylight is? And that was the sun. The end. So, did you guys know that the sun is a really big star that produces light and heat for the earth? And so let's go back to Miss Shay's wonder, because you guys are going to keep wondering things about patterns in the sky. And I wonder why you can see stars at night but not during the day. Just like this boy and his dad, these characters, they couldn't see the stars during the day, but they could see it at night. And you can see stars at nighttime, but not during the day, because stars are a smaller source of light. They're smaller than our really big sun, right? And so at night, when the sun goes down, you can see the stars. They shine bright for us to be able to see them. But when the sun comes up, the sun is so bright and it gives the earth so much light that you can't even see the stars. Yeah, so that's why we see stars at night. And then when the sun comes up, we don't see stars anymore. It's so bright and so powerful that we don't see the stars until the sun goes away. I wonder if tonight you can go outside and find a pattern of stars in the sky. That would be called a constellation. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be an astronomer again and we get to learn more about patterns in the sky. Bye.